Hello guys, this is my Crosman 760. It was manufactured in October 1978. This is the gun. I shot 100 yards in my video, and today I'm going to do a valve mod in it. I'm going to take out the valve and just mod it and let's see what we can get out of it. Well, it's doing pretty good, but I'm going to take it apart and do some work on the valve. So I'm going to make a little video for you guys, and let me disassemble it and we'll get started. Okay guys, we got the valve out, and like I said, this has been modded before, and I've already loosened it up with some pliers. So let's take this apart and see what we got here. Now I made this spacer to decrease the volume in the valve. I kind of got the idea that maybe the valve volume needs to be 20-25% of the barrel volume. So that's just kind of something I shoot for. And what I think I'll do is I think I'll do the freezer tube mod on this and take this hole here and take it out a little bit more and angle it to where the flow's a little bit better, and this basically make this hole here a little bit bigger. So I've already got another valve end here, and I've already made the hole bigger, and I've angled it a little bit so maybe you guys can see that and see what I'm doing here. And this valve has been under so much pressure that I've got a little indentation. So that piston was really pushing on this valve here. So I think I'm going to assemble that and check everything out and make sure it's all right. But first, let me get out a valve that I've messed up, and I'll show you guys that valve. That give you guys a little bit better idea of what I'm doing. Okay guys, now this right here is the valve that I messed up. Now I try to entertain you guys and show you what's possible with these things and playing around, but if you mess something up in your gun, I'm not responsible for that. I'm just trying to be entertaining and maybe a little bit enlightening here. But this valve I actually did mess up. So basically I set it up and essentially cut half of it off so I can see the insides of it. So, and this kind of illustrates the angle that I'm talking about here, right there, you see, and making the hole bigger, and that's the basic idea behind that. So let me show you if I can. This is the factory valve, and this is a modified valve. Okay, now this I put in a drill and I sanded it down to 9/32. So if you're going to try this, drill you a hole with a 9/32 drill bit, and sand this down and say your drill until it fits in the hole. So that way you don't make the valve too small. So you clearly don't want to make it too small. And I also filed down the very tip of this to where it's quite a bit shorter. Now let's put this together with the large valve and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let me see here, right here. Yeah. So this is assembly the way it is in your gun. So when you pull the trigger and the hammer hits, it does that. Now see how big that valve is? Now this is really about building up pressure inside the valve. Any mods that you do, that's really the objective. And the valve size is actually a big deal. It comes down to displacement. Now this large valve here has to displace all the air before it can move. So before anything else happens, the valve has to at least displace the air, and that way it could advance forward and flow of the air can begin. Now let me show you the difference of the mod. So let me take this valve apart. There we go. And let's slide in this little nothing valve here. Alright, so I got the valve back, and I got this in there. Alright, now you see the stem here? That's the factory stem, and this is a modified stem. So see how small that is, how much air it has to displace is actually significantly less. So you can build up higher air pressure inside the valve and still be able to open the valve. And with this here, I don't have any residual air in the valve. When I fire the gun, it's completely empty, as in I pump it another 12 or 14 pumps, and it's consistent every time. It does very well. I want the valve to be completely empty every time, to where I can get consistency out of it. But you can see that volume that it displaces is a whole lot smaller, and thus the hammer can open it easier. So like I said, sanding this down, or putting it in a drill bit and just letting it spin and sanding it, maybe taking a file to it and then filing the end of it off until you got something like that. And obviously I make enough for that spring to fit, and that's how the deal is. So right here is a factory stem, and it's quite a bit bigger. So and let me see if I can find a spring real quick to give you guys an idea of what I took out of this. I don't know if I can. Oh, here we go. Maybe. Yes. Now right there is the two different size springs. Now this spring is a little bit too light. You put your gun on half cock, and if you don't, the air will just come right out the barrel because it's so light. So maybe a little bit heavier, but not much. I mean, not this. This is what comes out of the valve, and it's a whole lot heavier. So like I said, this is the basic assembly of the valve. When it's all said and done, this is what I want it to be. Is essentially like that. So and there you go. So that's real light pressure, and it's enough to hold it closed. Now, like I said, I have made an extension to take up the airspace to get the volume of the valve significantly less, to where less pumps give me more pressure. Ultimately, volume's nice as long as it matches the barrel volume. Like I said, the valve needs to be like 25% of the barrel volume, and so I want to take up space in the valve to reduce the volume, but also increase the pressure as I pump. So that's what I did in that situation. So right there's the valve. So let's see here. Let's get everything ready, and let me get out my freezer tube, and we'll go from there. So okay guys, on to the freezer mod valve. Let me show you. This is really kind of you kind of got to work with it and fit it in there real nice. It's kind of tedious. So I took some freezer tube and I drilled it out to 7/32 on the inside here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm essentially just going to cut off the very end as straight as I can where I began the drilling. Okay, there, as straight as I can, and then I'm going to put it up against my barrel support and kind of eyeball it and cut it just a little bit longer. And again, I want to cut it as straight as I can. There we go. So there's a little piece. Okay, so I drilled it out, and I kind of let the drill bit kind of cut on each side of it, make the inside diameter bigger, and then I'll just fit it on here, and I already got one on my barrel, And that's basically the freezer tube mod. Let me see here. So that'll sit just like that, you know, and it'll be really tight, and it'll hold up to a lot of pressure. So let me see here. So like I said, on this deal, on this valve end right here, I cut the hole bigger and I angled it. So when I put the factory O-ring, which is right here, what happens is it has a tendency to shoot out the barrel. So, you know, that's kind of a big deal. So the freezer tube mod is the way to remedy that. And this fits right in there like that. And sometimes, well, most of the time, actually assembling your gun is going to be difficult, because you want it to squeeze together and be, you know, really tight. So anyway, so there's the mod right there, and that's the assembly. So let's put the valve together.